basically, we started our week this week looking at the employment forms that an employer normally hands you when you're getting a job: an I-9, a W-4, and a Missouri W-4 if you're in the state of Missouri. It might be an Illinois W-4 if you go to another state. The instructions for the I-9 basically express you have to have certain documents that you turn in depending on whether you're in class A, B, or C of a document. And we talked about that and making sure that you get those documents ready and available ahead of time so that there's less stress involved in your first day of work or in the process of onboarding, and that those documents be kept in a very secure place because you don't want to have your identity stolen. Then we talked about how the W-4 for the federal government interfaces with your individual income tax returns, and how most likely you're going to be exempt, at least for a while in your work life. And if you did have withholding, you're going to simply be filing a tax return to get that money back. We did that work. We looked at the work of filing a tax return and when you have a filing requirement, and also when you might want to file, even if you don't have a filing requirement, in order to get your money back that was withheld. We talked about how Social Security and Medicare are just, you have to pay those in and you're not getting that money back until you collect on Social Security. And the Missouri W-4 instructs your employer for withholding whatever tax you might owe to Missouri, and again, that you're probably exempt. And in that case, that you would have to file a tax return to get tax back if you did have withholding. We worked through an example of how the W-2 interfaces with a 1040, and we looked at which boxes are going to go to what lines and what are the critical numbers that you're looking at. We talked about just the general overview of taxes, how we have income and then adjustments and then deductions. And then we're calculating taxable income, which is how we get to tax. Then we talked about the city of St. Louis, and we looked at the E1 form for reporting your wages if you live in the city, and talked about how that 1% withholding is your responsibility. If your employer doesn't withhold it, you're going to need to be prepared to pay it out of your wages if you happen to get a job in St. Louis County and they don't withhold. Then yesterday we did the exciting work of talking about the importance of credit and maintaining your credit and what that does for you in terms of being credit worthy to borrow money to buy a car or a house in your future. And we talked a bit about student loans and how those work, and some of my best advice for things to consider in determining whether or not you're going to get a student loan. We probably didn't spend as much time on that topic as I thought we might. We really dived into personal property taxes and the requirements if you're going to have an auto, what you have to have, how you have to have liability coverage on at a minimum, and you have to have either proof that you didn't need to file personal property tax last year, called an exemption, or actual a paid personal property tax receipt. And I didn't mention that you also have to, your car has to pass an inspection. I didn't mention that, I forgot that yesterday, but that's also a requirement. We pulled up forms on the screen about how to figure out from the city of St. Louis how to get the forms that you need related to personal property tax. And then I shared links for Credit Karma and Mint. And Mint these are both free apps that you can get onto your phone or onto your computer, and they are tools that you can use to budget and to keep track of what's happening with your credit score and make sure no one else is actually stealing your identity, because you can see what it says is on your credit history. If you have a credit card, it will be listed there, and hopefully it will say that you're current. Yes, Jenny.
I remember this yesterday, the 2 days ago, but I don't know, like, what's the difference between a real check and an IRS
we cannot understand you. I'm so sorry, Johnny. You're probably gonna need to pull your mask down to talk to us. Yeah.
Okay. What's the difference between an IRS check and a regular check?
What kind of check and a regular check?
An IRS.
IRS check.
And a regular check. What's the difference?
Well, I
Because-
mean, if you're talking, are you talking about a refund check from the Internal Revenue Service?
I don't know what it is because it's my first time like actually receiving one. So it was kind of like I didn't know if it was like real or whatnot because when I like tried to want to cash it in the bank and they kept saying they can't do it because it's not validated or something.
Did it look like this?
No,
So
no.
that's what a true IRS check looks like. Okay.
it was like brownish or like a brownish color.
So I would say it
I don't
probably,
have it on me. I should have brung it, but because I should have brung it, but I'm at work, so it was like I didn't know the difference between. I seen a regular check, but that was my first time actually seeing an IRS check,
well, if
and I didn't know
you
the difference.
either talk to John A and take, a picture of it and she can send it to me. I could try to see if I can answer any question about that. But basically, this is what an IRS check looks like in general. And yeah, there's no substantial difference. Okay. So I want to know if there are any other questions, if anyone has any other questions. Something in here.
It looks like there might be a couple new people in this chat or in this Zoom meeting. And so for those of you that are new, can you just let us know if you did attend any other session this week? Or if this is your first session? You can write in the chat. Okay, looks like one attended yesterday. Okay.
Well, I do know that you guys have recorded all of our sessions and they include both the presentation material, and I tried to paste every link of the
Mhm.
things that were resources that you guys could use. One of the things that I did utilize in our session yesterday was a program that we actually pay money for called T-Value. It's an amortization program that basically shows you how much interest you're going to pay over the life of a loan. And I was using it to illustrate the substantial difference in interest rates for a home loan and as a motivation for really keeping a handle on your credit, knowing what your credit score is. And overall, what I've learned in my adult life is there are ways that are effective to improve your credit score. And whether you talk to someone who is in mortgages or a person who's at your bank who can assist you with this, they can give you advice. And so even if you have problems with your credit in the future, know that there are measures that you can take to substantially improve it in order to be able to have a house if that's something that you really want to have in the future. Mary Jean, who was on, asked a lot of questions about purchasing residences as investment property for producing rental income. I would really encourage you to listen to that, to yesterday's session, because in answering her questions, there's just a lot of great information there that can spearhead questions in your own mind about things to do for your future.
Wonderful. Love, love, love. So yeah, I'm going to be emailing all of the participants that have registered for the sessions, the links to the recordings. And then Elizabeth, would you mind emailing me all of the links to the handouts that you shared? And then I can include that in the email as well. So all of the recordings and the links to any of those resources are in one email for
Yeah,
those that,
sure.
okay.
I have all of them open on my screen right now. In
Okay.
case there were any specifics, so that's not a problem at all. I will email
Okay.
them to you, Amanda. And I do
Wonderful.
want you to know it's impossible for me to go back and capture everything that we've done this week because we spent close to at least 45 minutes every day this week building
Mhm.
the resources that I'm trying to help you guys with. Why we work is really what we started with: starting work, taxes and work, and then why we work.
For sure. So yeah, check out those recordings. All of them have great and beneficial information for everyone. Everyone can use this information, not just you guys, me, other people higher up in companies. Like, it's just all very beneficial information. So be sure to check out the recordings. But if you guys have any questions, now is the time to ask them, because we're not going to spend the full hour on this call since we've already covered all of the topics. So if you think of anything related to taxes, related to job form, like the forms you fill out when you start a job, like the W-4 and your I-9, if you have questions about credit, now is the time to ask.
And I'm not going to say that I'm an absolute expert on credit. I just simply felt like, since I'm speaking to people who are looking toward their future, that there are a lot of things that are happening right now in your life. And one of those are decisions about college. And I will talk, Trinity, about taxes related to business in just a second. Decisions about college. When you are thinking about whether or not to take out loans to go to college, you need to have an idea of how much money you're going to make with the degree that you're getting. Because if you're getting a degree, like say in social work, which is a wonderful, wonderful thing to want to do in society, it's a great thing. We need it. This has nothing to do with the value of the degree, to the world, but to you as a person who's getting paid, you need to know that you're only going to make this amount of money. And if you have a lot of loans, how are you going to pay those back? You have to have a financial plan that puts a value to the spending in terms of the investment in your future. And I did share that there are a number of employers that do tuition reimbursement, and you should consider getting an employed position in order to get paid to have them paying for you to go to school, so that you're not saddled with those loans later on. Okay. Trinity, business and taxes. This is my passion. Small businesses, particularly. Can you tell me like what kind of a business you're thinking about, so I can hear what I'm going to say toward that? Because there's a difference between like having a little convenience store or a little restaurant or coffee shop, or having like a cleaning business, fashion branding. Okay. So you're thinking of conceptualizing garments or selling someone else's garments. Got it. Okay. So you would have a store or online, either way, or both. And you're going to sell your own clothes and have a retail or just online? Probably doesn't matter. I can answer this question. The reason that this matters is because when you're selling things, you have a whole other tax category that people who are selling services don't have, called sales tax. And so to begin with, you have to get licensed to open a place of business if you're going to have a storefront. And there's a whole process involved in that is specific to where you're going to open. You're going to probably, if you're opening in the city of St. Louis, then you're going to need to see what the requirements are in the city. But there is this incredible organization available through the SBA called SCORE, SCORE. It's a resource free where former business executives are volunteering and putting their time in to help new entrepreneurs get the information they need to start up their business. So the SBA, sba.gov is a fantastic resource. I should be typing some of these things. And I don't know if score, I need to try to find score. And I don't know if you need to have a www in front of that. Looking up score. Here it is. Okay, so there is a link to the SCORE website, which will tell you about finding a mentor and doing all kinds of great things that you need in order to open your own business. But you have to have a occupancy permit to the place that you want to open and possibly a license. And SCORE is really going to be able to help you with that. From a tax standpoint, you're probably going to have to do tax registrations for sales tax. And then normally small businesses start just with the owner doing the work. That's because then you don't have to be on the hook to pay somebody, which adds costs to the process. So once you hire employees, you're going to have a payroll tax issue, and then there's income tax. So when we talk about tax, it's not just a single tax, it's all the authorities that I taught you about: federal, state, local. And then it's also what types of tax are you going to fall under in those areas. So sales tax is a state tax that also has a local component to it. Payroll taxes is basically you taking the seat of the person who's handling the things that your employees are having you withhold. All the things that I showed you on the W-2, you as an employer are doing that for your employees. And perhaps you yourself would be one of your own employees. But what you're going to learn in SCORE is about creating a business plan financially that shows how you are going to make your business profitable and what you're going to need to do with it. But this is all like, this could be a whole week of classes, honestly. It's such a deep dive, but I'm so excited that you asked, Trinity. I hope I've given you a little bit of a resource here.
Awesome. Any other questions for Elizabeth? And Elizabeth, one other thing, would you be, when you email me the links, would you be able to put like in parentheses what that link is going to help with, just so
Yes.
that, okay, perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. No worries, John A. That is no problem. John A said she'll have to leave in 10 minutes when her door opens, and that's totally fine because we're probably going to be finishing in 30 minutes or in 10 minutes. The one other thing I want to mention is that if you guys have not applied to STL Youth Jobs for the summer, I'm going to put that link in the chat here. And then I put that there. Oh, I sent it directly to one person, not everybody. And then the other thing is that, do you guys remember the Young Money Managers from last summer? I'm gonna take that as a yes, no, maybe. They're coming back this summer, and they're gonna be called the ambassadors. And so if you're interested in becoming an ambassador, there's an interest form that you would fill out, and first reach out to me. I'm gonna put my email in the chat as well, and I will send you a link to the interest form to fill out if you're interested. But those are the two items I just wanted to put out there, is the application and then my email, so that you can reach out to me with any questions, or if you want access to the interest form. And then if you guys don't have any questions, I just want to thank you guys for being here today on the last day to hear a little bit of a summary, and then to ask any other questions that you have. And also we want to thank Elizabeth for all of her time this week. The 5 hours at least, or around 5 hours of time that she's put into teaching all of you guys this really beneficial information. So, yay.
I've really enjoyed it. I wish all of you the very, very best in your futures, and maybe I'll see you another time on some other thing in
Yeah.
life. So I'm wishing you the best, and thank you, Amanda, for this opportunity that you've given me. And I'm working on this email as we speak.
Perfect. Awesome.
Okay.
And then if you guys have if you think of any additional questions after this training, feel free to email me and I can reach out to Elizabeth. We can get those questions answered.
All right. Thank you very much, guys. I'm signing off. Bye-bye.
Sounds good. Bye.
Bye.